Here we go. Podcast number 132. Are you sick of us yet? I'm your host, Kerry Kreitz.
I'm sick of us.
Dexter Wiseman, Tim Wiseman, and Daryl Bradley. Thanks again to joining us for another week and another special guest. And how was last week with Crystal Hibner, guys? I unfortunately haven't been able to listen to it yet. Was it fantastic?
Flawless.
I highly doubt
Flawless. Actually, no. Honestly, it was probably the smoothest one we've had without you.
It definitely was.
Maybe the smoothest one with you.
Dexter had it well handled. So
it was good. It was good. We were all on our best behavior, so it wasn't like the Hafner and Rayner podcast by any means. So
Yeah.
Right.
we got Red the
classed it
Riot
up
hats.
after that.
No,
No,
special,
she
no special
told us.
designation yet.
She told us to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That
it is
makes
what
sense.
it is, though, right? Yeah, it was good though.
Saskatchewan has provincials this weekend.
Yeah.
They do.
So
Starts
when do they
tomorrow.
start? They'll start tomorrow. Nice. I saw John was posting the schedule of events.
Yeah, so you can go to the Golden Mile website and watch the live streams of the Saskatchewan Open Provincials for the next 3 days.
Right, because they've got the Nest cameras and then also the computer system too. You can live, can't you?
Yeah.
Fun fact, you can actually log into that at any point and watch anyone's scores whenever you want.
Yeah, league play. I think
I
that's
kinda
awesome.
keep that
man.
link around
a
every once in a
random
while.
Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
What kind of seniors league is playing today? Let's check 'em out.
Exactly.
You can definitely tell if Kevin's working or not. That's for sure. He's out on the lanes.
You can't do the Nest cams, but you can do the live scoring.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
they're-
So they're the first province to get things rolling this weekend here for the Open. Right?
Yeah.
As we get brewing here into tournament season, this is kind of
Quebec has
Yeah,
their national team going already.
And PI's already got theirs too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Quebec just did this last weekend.
Yeah.
Right? You got those stats there handy. That was kind of fun to see. I didn't realize that they were. I know that was to see who's on that list. Now, Sylvain Bercier's on there.
He won, yeah.
Matt Leonard's on there. I think Max is on there.
Max is, yeah.
I mean,
I
looked
here.
I looked
Just
at the
looking teams.
I looked at the ladies, and obviously the ladies are always good on Quebec. But the crazy part was you had three really strong ladies
Unmixed.
unmixed.
Unmixed, yeah.
I saw
Helen and Chantel.
Yeah.
Chantel and that Maud is a very Maud, whatever.
Yeah.
She's very good too. She's whatever. I'm really bad with names. Don't get me wrong.
I thought you were trying your Quebec accent.
No, not even. that would be even more of an insult.
Let's be fair. None of
I
us
think
can
Natalie
nail any of
Trudel as well, right? She's C5. She's their ladies team,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, she's on the ladies team,
Isabella.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good team though.
Good.
It's interesting how they do it. They run it like teams, and then they pick their all-star team based off of total averages. So that's how it works.
So there's a team component at the provincials they just did out of their bowling center.
Yeah, so you can play out of Perry, you can play out of whatever, and you can sign up that way, and then they'll take your highest averages to make a.
So there would have been actually more than that guys playing. Oh no, I guess they did the full list for the smaller list. Okay.
It's an all-star team just because the sheer amount of they don't have the same amount of players.
I just thought it was a qualifying tournament. I didn't realize that there was a team component as well. I thought they just showed up and played a singles event and played the 8 games, the 10 games, or the 16 games. I didn't realize there was also a team side to it.
Correct. Yeah.
So PEI just runs a qualifying, but yes, I didn't realize that Quebec does that either. They run it like we run our youth challenge.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then Manitoba is just a qualifier.
8-game qualifier.
Is that this weekend or is that in Easter?
It's this weekend.
So this weekend coming up, right? So there's
in Minnedosa. So I mean, it's a small 8-lane center with 32 bowlers.
Yeah, they capped it, right?
So you have 32 bowlers. You have
30 bowlers, I think.
30 or
6
32.
lanes. 6 lanes. 30.
Oh,
bowlers.
that's right.
I think our guest will know a whole lot more. He's probably itching. Let me talk.
Yeah. So we'll have that. So that'd be good too. Yeah.
Nice.
On a side note, I know we can't talk about it next week. It'd be too late. But MLB season starts up soon here. I know we're really excited. Anybody out there who follows MLB? Carrie has her first overall pick in her fantasy draft, and he is just losing it. He doesn't know who to pick.
Bartolo Colon.
Anybody can help out Carrie right now? Because
first overall pick in a fantasy baseball.
But now keep in mind, it's a keeper league. So, like, I played in another league, and Tatis went like first pick in third round. That's not happening in ours.
Is this the first year of this league, or is this now the
first round of keeper league?
Yeah.
We did
Very
it before,
exciting.
but it wasn't a keeper. So
what's the strategy? You go to I don't do a league at all. So do you go to a shortstop? Like, could you go to a third hitter or like a home run guy?
You go with a guy that puts up the best stats and is fairly young, because you're gonna hopefully have him for the next few years.
Yeah,
10 years down the road or whatever like that. Does Carrie go off the board? Okay, if anybody understands, Trey Turner is probably the best player available. And
settle down, Tim. You're not influencing me. Let's move on. Let's stick with bowling.
I had a friend of our podcast reach out, and he made a really good point. Robert Gallagher. We went over the master stats. Robert says a lot of shit, but sometimes Robert says some good things too. We went over all the stats for the Masters for Alberta last week, and he did say, "Why didn't you say anything about the teaching stuff?" And he's right. We should talk about that. So I would like to congratulate our teaching master bowlers and our senior masters bowlers. Coming out of Alberta, we have a couple of ladies from our center. This is actually really cool. Chantel Usman won, and then Kira Usman, her daughter, made the team as well. So they get to play together on a team at nationals, which I think is like really neat.
Fun.
Michelle Forster, Charlotte Hamilton, and Shelley Taylor round out the ladies team. For the men, you have Russ Foster, William Jubenville, Richard Fancy, Grant Medall, is that right? And Rob Price. So congratulations to those guys. Brian Sudbury's coaching the ladies, and Bob Sterling's coaching the men. For the seniors, this is awesome. We have Andre oh God, how do I even say that last name?
Andre L.
Andre. We have Andre. Denise Howie, awesome. She's
nice.
She's such a staple in our community here in Edmonton. She's such a wonderful person, and they've gone through so much stuff in the last couple of years. That's a huge win for us. Shirley Koltgen. And then for the scratch portion, we have Tom Stevenson and Barry Urquhart, which is super cool. And then our coach is Lynn Howell.
Did I miss Robert's name there? I was wondering where Robert was. I thought he was looking for a mention.
There isn't a senior team old enough to have him on there. He's an ultra senior team to have him in there.
Yeah, you could
almost give a shout out though to the Heartland Kingpins. We've officially have made the playoffs for the 5-pin Pro League.
Yeah,
hey,
the Cargill division
is set.
It is, yeah. The playoffs are set. So Paradise Marvel winning by half a point, and then Dream Crushers versus Heartland in the first round of the playoffs on the Cargill side. So congratulations to them.
And Cargill plays first, hey, for playoffs? That's confirmed?
Yeah, April 10th.
Okay. Rusted Pedal is not until May
1st.
Gotcha. Yeah. I thought I had that the other way around, but...
Originally it was, but due to teams that could have made playoffs, they sent me numerous emails stating that they can't make the May 1st, and they were all from the Cargill division, so we did the swap. And nobody in the Rusted Pedal division said anything since that, so I'm assuming they can make it. So we have the Cargill division, Dream Crushers versus the Kingpins. And then the winner of that moves on to play Paradise.
Yep, be a couple good games there. I know all Heartland's going to be out there to cheer against us, which is great. I mean, for the community, I think it's awesome, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. Anybody see Ryan O'Callaghan's comment on that? I thought it was
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was quite rude, and then somebody hearted it that I don't even know. So I don't know how I pissed in his cornflakes. But
what was it? The comment about as long anybody who Tim doesn't play for?
Yeah.
And
then somebody hearted it. I was like, man, I don't even know you, but that's cold.
He must know you pretty well.
Maybe it was the guy that called the alley last night. Who knows?
You're not making too many friends on the phone. Yeah,
no, not lately. No.
Sorry. Back to this fantasy baseball. Don't you have an E5 meeting next week?
No, we don't. We pushed it back.
I thought you guys pushed it back to next week.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good work, Prez. Moving around E5 meetings.
This is Alberta Provincials is coming up. Let's be honest, that's the big ticket coming up here next weekend.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to. Huge teams out there, all different divisions, men's, ladies mixed, powerhouses. A lot of coaching, interests out there. We've got Mr. Curtis Deering making an appearance with the Southern Ladies now. I see. Hey, Tom Stevenson, Central Men's. Carrie, you've had a practice.
Yeah. Tom's our coach. He's fresh going to a Masters National, so he's all piped and ready for bowling. So it worked out good.
How was your practice?
Had a contingent practice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I shot 350s. What else do you want to know?
Perfect.
You guys played 3 games, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
No, we had our first contingent practice, and out of all the years we've made it, I think it was the first time everybody showed up.
Literally every single person and alternates.
I do have to mention that Lynn Howell showed up about 45 minutes late because he forgot about it. Apparently,
it wasn't 45. It was less than that.
His email is not the right one. That's what he said. So, I think it's just sorry, Lynn, you owe us around. That's all I'm going to say. It was good. It was really good. Yeah, the men came out, beat the ladies, and then beat the mix. So we went home pretty happy.
I think all the matches were 1500s or 1600s too. So
1600s bare minimum for sure. Yeah,
there's going to be, but honestly, guys, there's going to be some massive team scores at provincials. And every zone is going to throw big numbers. There's going to be 1500s, 1600s. There's going to be. I'm going to predict a 1700.
Do you know?
I'll predict a perfect game and a 1700. We're not doing a pre-show next week, are we? So this is the.
No, we have.
We have another week yet.
Yes, maybe next week is the pre-show. Maybe open.
It just worries you a little bit because worries you as in anybody has a given shot because it narrows the field. Anybody can throw a strike there, and I think that at the end of the day, that's gonna be good for people watching bowling. Like on stats or otherwise. Obviously, Central's a team to beat, so we still have a lot of work ahead of us.
I'm going to kick you off this podcast soon.
You can't help yourself, man.
No, I speak the truth, right? And maybe that's why the guy didn't like me, but it is what it is. Yeah. Go Central, go.
I'm gonna make that into a soundbite for your team. They're gonna love you.
Yes, I'm on the bench anyways. Don't worry.
Yeah. You earned that position on Monday.
Yeah, I did.
Oh man. Okay, so let's bring our special guest because I'm sure he's going to be a lot more better than listening to Tim fucking ramble on. A lot more better. I didn't say my English and grammar is any good.
Oh my god! I already deal with Tim.
So for $2 a month you can go on Patreon at patreon.com/5pinuniverse. Help support us bring this podcast and Tim's ramblings to you every week. I'm sure you guys enjoy it. You enjoy it as much as I do, I'm sure. Once again, we have All-Star Bowling Sales being our sponsor of the week, and we are doing an All-Star giveaway. So let me start that. There we go. Hashtag All-Star Giveaway if you want to be part of the draw here throughout the podcast. We do the draw at the end. And then we will run their commercial and we'll bring in our special guest. right. We'll just jump right into it. So you obviously seen on the title and on the screen from Brandon, Manitoba, WCBT player elite himself, apparently on the short list here soon. We have Mr. Brad Rusnak. Welcome to the show.
Hey, gang. How's it going?
Good.
Or should I say... Howdy.
Nice.
They had to. Oh God, that's.
I think you got it on backwards, buddy.
It's not the hat. It's totally my head. I swear.
Pretty sure you have it on
totally off the
backwards.
ball, right? It's like, hey,
sure
wait a
you got
second. Thanks for having me. So it's good. You know what? I've always heard people say that when they get on these things, it's the night before you get on, and what picture is he going to put on there? And I know Katie's. I got a little scared after I saw Katie's a couple weeks ago. But
honestly, I just tried to find one up with your face.
Yeah, well, so I've always said perfect face for radio, right? So I don't get many. I don't do many pictures, and most of my bowling pictures are of my better side, my backside, because it's like the silhouette and throwing the shot and all that stuff. But no, you picked a good picture with that. This was Brittany Lacusta's hat, actually.
I cropped her out of the picture.
Yes, and in 2019 at BC, Christine Wren, who I bowled with for quite a few years at Village Inn in Winnipeg, set up that trade. Told me that Brittany was looking for one of the Wild Manitoba shirts that we had that year, and I said, that's cool, because I don't have a hat yet, so that would have worked out well. So there you have it. Thanks, Brittany. That's awesome. So there you go.
That's neat.
Yeah. I love how the hats always become the trade item at the Nationals, right?
And most of the Alberta bowlers cannot wait to get rid of them.
and most of the others usually like to collect them in some capacity, right? So,
totally.
But it was always kind of the dream to have one, so it worked out well. So made it work one more time to get to one more national, at least before it all ended up. But that was great. It was especially that year because with the whole plan of potentially not bowling too much longer after that, it was that much more special too that year. So it made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good year. It was really when I became like friends with Ryan O'Callaghan, and that was a mistake.
Ryan's really kind of started showing up to these things a lot more the last couple of years. So it's good to see him out there, but he travels a long way to get there. I'll tell you that. Yeah. He's but now that he said now that his kids are older and moved out and that sort of thing, he's got a bit more time. His wife's probably happy to kick him out.
Oh,
knowing her up there, so it's good.
Guaranteed.
So Thompson's my hometown. I said so I was born there, and then about a year later, my parents moved to Winnipeg. But going back up there for a couple of years, and when I was doing the radio thing and stuff, and so the drive then wasn't so bad. I don't know if I'd be doing it now today quite as easily as back then, but 700 kilometers. I think I did the trip once in about 5.5 hours, but
wow!
Don't tell the cops that. It was overnight. It was quick. I cruising pretty fast to try and get there because it is a lot of nothing up there for about 4 hours when you're driving.
Did you go back specifically for like a radio placement?
No, the way it worked out actually, I graduated in 1999 from high school, and I was accepted to the University of Western Ontario journalism program. And I was gonna go. The plan was to take a year in between there. I had one more year of YBC left, so I stayed for that and life in general, and toured the Western Ontario campus on Easter weekend that year, and came back. And then and in that year that I stayed, I ended up going to the Robertson Broadcasting program instead, and the tail end of that was a practicum. And I wanted to get on the air and get some airtime, so I went to one of the smaller communities that I could, and went up to Thompson, and I knew people up there already, and my parents lived up there for a number of years, so we had contacts. I had a place to go, and a month later, I ended up getting offered a full-time job in the evening show there. Stayed for a couple more months and built up some experience, and then I got offered a job in the afternoon drive from 2 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Oh, there you go. There's a picture. That was classic.
Look at that computer.
I was going to say the same thing.
the hair. I love the hair in the picture. It's just crazy. But even before that, I had hair to my shoulders at one point. I wouldn't share that picture for the life of me now. But a long time ago. But the afternoon drive and eventually ended up hosting the morning show. So I ended up staying up there for 2 years, and a good time. But lots of fun, lots of community work, and then ended up going to Grand Prairie, Alberta for 7 months. Took on a copywriting role out there after the Thompson thing, and then I ended up back in Winnipeg for family reasons. So, and it was a good time to get out. Even then, I love the world today, where a lot of the broadcasters now are former coaches and athletes, and the number of jobs between that and you introduce XM radio, the number of jobs have just deteriorated in the industry and for that type of work. And so I had to get out of that and do something a little different. And then along came automotive, and haven't left it since.
I have a quick question for you. Somebody that's lived in Thompson and Grand Prairie, pretty much the same city, I'm guessing?
Sorry, like the same city? Same across the country if you measure it out about, right?
I just thought
if you compare
the delinquency.
Grand Prairie to Thompson, which one's better?
Which one's better? Who's watching this right now? Let me see.
Everyone, both Grand Prairie and Thompson.
I will say I was appreciative that Grand Prairie was a lot closer to more civilization than Thompson is. How's that?
That's fair.
Is Thompson where
and O'Callaghan was 2 provinces over, so I got into less trouble that way. No, it was good times. It was back in the old days. So I still get asked every once in a while to throw the voice up there, but it's like coming to you from the Boyd Auto Body Studios in Brandon, Manitoba. I'll throw it in there and have some fun. Throw on the Boyd,
anytime you want. Yeah, there you go.
So you got to throw the Wheat King shirt on tonight. They can clinch a playoff spot with a win over PA. So go Wheaties! Come on, let's go. They're having a fun
is Len Isleson still in Brandon?
Len Isleson is still in Brandon. He does live in Brandon. Him and Chris live in Brandon, and so he is our MLA, conservative MLA for the province. So I know he spends a lot of time in Winnipeg, but back onto the C5 board again.
Yes, he's president. Yeah,
he is. Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah. So, but he's definitely involved in the community. He's always posting lots of community pictures and such. And so his riding was he won. His riding with the conservative side, but it was NDP for the longest time. I think almost forever, essentially. So it was but Len's also built a reputation for himself. He's very well known in the community and a great guy to talk to.
Future premier, hey?
It could be.
I don't
want to get into politics on this call.
Yeah. I came to Brandon, was it Canada Games 97, 98, somewhere in there? And what was it in?
The Pan Am Games were in Winnipeg in 99. When was Canada Games?
Canada Summer Games would have been 97, I feel like.
In that range somewhere probably. That was before my time here for sure, but it was. I moved out to West Van in 2000.
Thanks, Tim Hooper.
How does he have information on everything?
He just knows this, man.
Tim Hooper's the smartest guy I know on Facebook.
Bronze medal, Alberta men's soccer.
I follow his stuff. He's the smartest guy.
Well, Don Sims got to be right there with him too.
Oh yeah, but if you're something about sports or science or anything like that, Tim's the guy.
Especially European stuff. He could talk hours for it. And,
maybe we need to start a Jeopardy for bowling category, bowling people. Whew.
It's funny that you just mentioned that because I was been looking into trivia plugins for our StreamYard. So when we do these podcasts, we could have a trivia day.
We could just make an entire episode of that.
Oh man.
All right, back on topic.
We can full on Jeopardy board. We can make a full episode of this.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Goodness. Let's go. Yeah, there's a lot of categories you can throw in there. That's for sure.
I love it.
But and yes, hasn't bowled in years is right. I said Len coached the Opens a couple of years, but and the Open for Manitoba actually changed venues today. It's going to be in Minnedosa, moved to Brandon today. So 8 lanes now instead of 6. And I'm not sure exactly what transpired there. There was a limitation on people in the building put on this weekend, which I don't know if that helped the cause, but nonetheless, found out today the venue moved. So it's a home one for us.
And where was Minnedosa? Like, what's the
Minnedosa is about 40 minutes north of Brandon. So about 2.5 hour drive from Winnipeg. You got to go north a little bit. So it was And
now it's in Brandon, so it's a less drive for the Winnipeg people to come.
Yeah, a little further for Ryan to go.
Right.
He's got to come a little further south, but
but Ryan's just one guy. Who cares about Ryan, right?
Did you add more people?
I think it was capped at 30 because 6 lanes of 5 is what they had it at. But they said today they'll take 2 more to make it 32.
Right.
So they'll go 8 lanes of 4 is what they're going to do.
And it'll just be a qualifying.
18 game qualifying, top 4. We're sending singles and a mixed team. So top 4 make step ladder to play for singles, and then next 3 men, next 3 women, make the next team. So,
18 games. That is an odd number.
Manitoba's always done 18,
it's
like for the qualifying and stuff like that. We've like the zones. The Westman zone always did 18. Quite often too.
So you had 9 games one day, 9 games the other day?
They're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I believe they reworked it again. It was 8 games on Friday and then 5 Saturday. Is that right? I saw it quickly this morning. I just saw the news, but
I know they changed the lane draw each day. Is somebody different, or is it the same people the entire weekend?
They were doing a different lane draw each day for Minnedosa. I presume they'll do the same for Brandon too.
That's pretty impressive that they would take that tournament. If it's anything like our center over the last 2 months, it's been absolutely balls to the wall, insanely busy. I'm sure T-Birds is probably in the same boat. It's pretty impressive that that they're willing to take it on that weekend. That is pretty impressive. But that's awesome.
So what I think obviously is going to be a great powerhouse mixed team. You look at all the players that are playing, and you can't say that Manitoba mixed team is not going to be real solid.
Very solid. And
obviously the singles are going to be dynamite. But Brad, who do you think, if you had to draft a list of people who might make it, I'm going to throw you on the spot.
Throw me on the spot?
Yeah.
Maybe more than 3. Maybe go 6, so then you get yourself covered.
I was going to say, if it was 5, I'd put myself in there, but we'll see. I mean, I know Gilardi's coming out. I know Hendrickson's coming out. Ken Wilson's playing. He's made it a number of times. Trevor Ray has had a great year this year in Brandon. I'm gonna give him a big hype because he's ahead of me in average this year, so he can do it. There's a few names there on the guys' side for sure. Alyssa's out this way now, of course, with Dwayne, so she's going to make a lot of noise here, I think. Karen's playing, I know that.
Yeah.
There's a couple locals here with I know Laura's playing, so she'll have a home field advantage, and she's been to a couple of nationals now too.
I saw Sandy
there, Linda Orn, I think. Did I say Linda Orn is on that list too? And I believe she's playing. There's like I say, it's going to be still a good tournament. It's going to be and Brandon, I'm sure that there's a few people outside of Brandon that are probably pretty excited for the news that it's going to be in Brandon now, because traditionally it's a pretty high scoring house, and the scores can get up there pretty quick. So I think Minnedosa would have leveled the playing field a little bit, the old wood lanes and a lot of movement and such, but the lanes will be ready for everybody on Easter weekend. There's no doubt. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Perfect. I see Tyson posted that Colton's playing.
Colton's had a fantastic
Tyson
year.
playing himself too.
Yeah, Tyson's playing.
Tyson's playing. Tyson's playing as well. Yeah.
I want to point out to you, Ryan, that Brad didn't pick you to make the team.
Ryan. Do we have
That's
to
all
talk
Tim
about him
does.
so much? I don't
He
know.
just
He
picks
says.
It's out there.
He
Do you know
does
what?
sort of-
Ryan messaged me. I'm so
He's-
looking forward to this podcast. I can't wait to
Yeah.
listen to it the next day. So,
Yeah, because he's working
throw-
tonight. The bum.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
couldn't get. I told him to call in sick, whatever. But
throw some tidbits in there for him so he can feel like he's wanted in there, right? So,
well, him and I talked. I told him it's my last one, man. If you're gonna make it, we're gonna go to Newfoundland. You better play. So
yeah.
I was happy when he signed up and threw his name in the hat too. So
He's been playing phenomenal. He's been playing really, really well this year.
he has.
Not to get into politics again or anything like that, but the reason they had to move it was due to people in the building restrictions again?
There was a memo that came out on the weekend saying they were limiting it to 50 people in the building. So to put it into kind of a perspective, when the singles are going to be bowling, there's not a lot of room for the remaining people to be back in that pit area anyway. But to have 50 people during the tournament, I said you're 5 per lane, it's crowded, and then throw another 12 in the back. I said it would have been tight quarters for sure.
And
so I don't know the politics as to why it moved or why they decided to move it. I was actually told last night that it might be moving, and then the memo came out today saying that they were moving it to Brandon. So nothing against Minnedosa. I said the Tarns are amazing people. I hope it wasn't anything bad in that sense. Certainly hope not, but it will be a little bit more comfortable, a lot more breathing room, and in the Brandon facility for sure at T-Birds. So
yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, it was and I heard briefly last night that it might happen, but I was quite surprised to see that it actually did happen. So, but yeah, so be it. You know what? As I said all year, and give me a lane and a shot to play, and we'll see how it goes. So. Totally. I've been waiting for this one for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, when COVID hit and it shut down that season, and I made it pretty public at that point that I was going to be wrapping up my career at that point in time. And then COVID hits right before provincials, and just didn't get to finish. And I said I couldn't really leave it like that. I didn't want to leave it like that. So this is the reason why I'm really still playing. I might get my butt handed to me, and the way that the preparation's been this year compared to previous years for me, it's much different. But you never know. I said if I can find a line at home early, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But
exactly.
I'm just hoping to put on a good show, and spectators, like they were limiting the spectators, which I feel probably maybe affected that a little bit too. So, you know, this way my mom is going to come out. She'll get to see, and hopefully, and I know April's excited, and you know, my family, they all know that this is it for me at the end of this year, and as I've talked about a few times, but
yeah. Can you share with us why? I mean, obviously, you know, you've got a full career, Brad. We can definitely go into details of where you started, but obviously you're on talking about this being your last one. So let's go there a bit.
Let's have
What's
it
the
out.
reason? Yeah, let's have the reasons. Like why?
Sure.
You sound pretty convinced that this is a retirement. This isn't I'll see you in a few years type of thing. Like you certainly sound very like my career's, and you're fine with it. So tell us more.
I'm very fine with it. Where do I start with that? This is my final year. The Open will be my final tournament. I'm either done in Brandon now. I might retire at home, or in Newfoundland. It's going to be one of the two. But yes, this will be my final year for sure. The surgeon tells me so. So in 2014, I had surgery on my elbow. Just to briefly rewind from that, it was from 2010 to 2013. It was a lot of bowling. It was 7 nationals in 4 years, and a lot of bowling on the arm, and a lot more working out and prepping for big, long days and long tournaments. And I started working out the body, but as it went on, I started basically losing feeling in my 2 fingers, my ring finger and my pinky finger, because I had a compressed ulnar nerve in my elbow at the time, and I had a lot of elbow pain at the time. So I had the surgery done, 4 consecutive years of singles from 10 to 13. Had to stop cold turkey. I started the 2013-14 year, bowled the first Masters tournament. I could barely hold a ball. I had to withdraw from it. And thank you to them for actually refunding me that year. They didn't have to, but very appreciative of it. I had the surgery in 2014 in February, and opened up my ulnar nerve. And when I woke up from it, they said, "Can you move your fingers?" And I had a little twitch, and they said, "Okay, you're going to make a recovery." And it was kind of 50-50 going into it, what was going to happen. And so that was encouraging at that point, but it was a full 16 months without touching a bowling ball between that Masters tournament and then Regina February the following year. So about 5-6 months after that, got the green light to basically start working out and doing full workouts. And that's when I really started hitting the gym. I went to the gym at least 3 times a week, and doing repetitions for my back and shoulders and legs and arms that was basically mimicking, 10, 15 game tournaments. And that's what I did for a number of years, to stay loose and get ready. So it was, and I felt very blessed at that time to be able to come back to the game again. Showed up in Regina in 2015, unannounced, first bowling ball that I threw and shot 2,200 in my qualifying. And I'll never forget that day. It was a very emotional day. But and it was the first of 5 qualifying consecutive in Regina after that. And beautiful alley house. I love that place. And then, but as the time went on again, I was good for a couple of years. And I started working out more. Not that I'm a big muscular guy or anything, but I did a lot of working out. But as I was doing that, I started losing the feeling in the hand again, which became quite concerning. And so multiple appointments, multiple electrode appointments and MRIs. And finally an MRI showed that my ulnar nerve that I had the surgery on in the elbow is wrapped in an additional muscle that's in my arm that is not supposed to be there. The old anomaly, as they say. And in order so it's, as I build up muscle in my arm, it's compressing the ulnar nerve in my hand. So I'm at about 65-70% right now of the strength that I should have. So it has deteriorated again. And it's a point of stop working out. Okay. But if I'm not really working out and I'm not doing it, then to be able to compete at the level that I want to compete at just isn't there anymore. And I feel it. I've talked to a few people about it on the tour this year. I said I have a lot of rotation in my shot and it comes off the fingers a lot. And I don't have that same rotation on the ball that I used to have. And that was kind of my bread and butter in the game. I used to love, I love coming off the fingers, and I don't even feel it coming off the fingers so much anymore. And just as I said in my post in September, it's just more about respect for the game. I said, 15 years ago, I wish I was doing the tour 15 years ago. I said, is to be able to compete like that. But it's come down to, I have to have the full surgery on my full arm to fix the problem. And even the surgeon said at this point, in your 40s, you've had a good career. If you were in your 20s, I'd probably tell you something a little different. But and I said, I got 3 children now, and the kids and the activities, and I don't really think I can put myself through all that. So and if I continue doing it, like you said, 2 or 3 years down the road, I probably have no hand function left, essentially. So it's I need my hand. My kids need that, and so it's actually been a very easy decision to say it's time to wrap this up while I still have a good shot, while I can still play, I can still compete right now. But 2 years ago, like I said, I was ready to be done with that. We started coaching the kids on Saturday mornings, and I love the kids. I said our program has grown from the 12, 13 that we had up to 22, 23 now. I said it's just been slowly coming up. The parents are thrilled with the whole program that we have right now. I said, and that's just become a bigger focus for me. I said, my boys, they watched a Regina run to the Final Four the one year with Schultze winning it all there, and my oldest son was watching it back a few times. Said, I want a bowl, and I said, well, okay, I'll sign you up, but was never any pressure from me. And Ryan said he wanted to jump in too, so they both love the game, and I love coaching it with them, and the kids have just given me a new light in this game to show them how to do some stuff, and hopefully they take it in, and obviously as we've had averages come up, and even just a couple of weeks ago at high-low, we won the first banner for T-Birds for 5-pin for the high-low doubles juniors team there with Marion Everett, and I had a couple of tears that day. That was pretty cool, but to see them do it and to pull that off at the end, it was pretty cool. And so that's just it's I'm thrilled to say that it's kind of taken over my attention more than my actual playing myself. And that's what it is. I said I've been very blessed the last 5, 6, 7 years to come back to the game and compete at the level that I have with you guys, and what I've learned the last 5, 6, 7 years. I said even my game went to levels that I never really imagined possible, to be honest. I said I used to think you shoot 275. It was a pretty high score back then. And I said and then it kind of becomes your focus and average at that point, and how you change your mentality to it, and that sort of thing. So, but my respect level for the game now with how everybody prepares and plays the game, I can't do that same preparing that I had at one point. So cutting it back to 4-player events and traveling and visiting a little bit more and having some fun and still doing that. I said that'll be cool. And for this year, I'm bowling a league for the first time in 7 years since I had that surgery a long time ago. And so Trevor and Perry and Steve invited me to join their All-Star Wednesday team on GTS, which has been together for many years. And Terry ended up moving to Winnipeg during COVID. So they asked me if I would take his spot, and I was honored to be asked. And I said, yes, absolutely. And kind of put me back into the league setting a little bit again. And so it's been a little change for me again, bowling 3 games a week on Wednesday nights. But it was fun. It was a good league, and our team won the league championship a couple weeks ago. So it was pretty exciting for that. And there you go, Aaron just threw it up there. So we pulled it off and at the end, and so it was good. And but I'm thrilled to be back. It's going to be recreation bowling for me now, and trying to stay in it, and try to stay in it that way, but to keep up with the times. And do
you think you'll coach?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, so then there's opportunity there, and Masters and Open in the future. I mean, maybe not playing, but
I don't know if they'll have me or not. I guess time will tell. But they'd have to choose me, I guess. But I have my community coach. I've been looking around to try and get my. Actually, when COVID hit, I was coming to Alberta to do my level 2, or the intro to comp in Red Deer, and then that got postponed too, of course, with COVID. Mm-hmm. So one of these days, I'll get the intro to comp, and then. But my focus is the kids right now for sure, to hone some of those skills a little bit in the coaching side. And then, I said the sky's the limit with that too. And to be involved in the game, I said I've been involved in the game for so long and everything else. So it's been a long time. But yes, that is the big announcement. It's I don't know. I said I've always looked at the career and said that. There's a couple things. I never got the national gold, or not yet. I said it could still happen, but national silver. But the accomplishments and stuff. I don't regret that at all. I said I've had a terrific run and successful, and the tour provided me a lot of success with the opportunity to play, and so I'm very thankful for all of it, and hopefully you can do more with the coaching. So.
Bryn makes a good point here. Have you ever thought about switching hands? Now, I know competing at the level you want will still be like probably not there. But that being said,
No.
we watched Giggy do it. Giggy now plays a league left-handed and a league right-handed. He broke his wrist one year. He played left-handed. He went to Masters Nationals POA. I believe he won singles that year too. It was unbelievable. I've always said that the better you get at this game, is kind of like an inverse ratio with how much fun you have with the game. But I think if you switch to the left hand, your expectations kind of go away, and I think you could just have a blast doing it.
Just doing it? Yeah, I know. I think everybody's asked me that at some point in time, and I said, you know what? I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. I said it's just time. I said I don't know if I want to change my perspective of the game for what it's been. And the success that I've had, and I said there's other things to do. The kids have come along in all their activities. I've realized there's other things to do too, and
the kids bowl too, right?
Hey,
your kids are bowling, yeah.
Yeah, Jake and Ryan are bowling, but I've got Ryan in karate. I've got Jake curling. He picked up curling this year. They're all swimming. Awesome. Jessica's doing dance classes after doing gymnastics for a couple of years, and so I said it's been very busy with that. And the camping, I said they love going camping and they love the trips, and now that COVID's done, hopefully we can pull the camper to a few places if I win the lottery and pay for gas these days. But it's gonna get crazy. But just stuff like that. I said I've never even thought about trying to pull the left-handed thing. And I just said, you know what, I'm good. I'm good with it all, and to share the good times, and to still do what I can do right-handed for the time being, and do that. So, but it would take some skill. But I did break my wrist in high school in grade 9, and I was in a cast that I couldn't even move my thumb, like it was just solid shape, and I was completely useless left-handed. Like I couldn't do anything with it, and so I couldn't write. It was the worst thing of grade 9 to try and get into it, and borrowing classmates' notes just to get by for 2 months while I was in a cast. It was the first 2 months of bowling that I actually missed. I had perfect attendance up until I completely shattered the bones between my thumb and my finger, and dumb dog. It was rollerblading, and a guy walking a dog. The dog cut in front of me, and I went over the leash and rolled up on the hand, and so that's how that happened. But
now I have a picture of you rollerblading in my head.
Played rollerblade hockey in a league for 4 years.
That's awesome.
And
nice.
I was fast, but when I got caught, it hurt.
Yeah,
I'm not a big guy, so. But I had some pretty good speed on rollerblades back in the day. I haven't Brandon doesn't give me a lot of opportunity to rollerblade. There's a lot of gravel and loose gravel around and stuff like that. So
it's really made a comeback over the last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. I said there's you've seen it out there. Well, especially with the COVID thing, right? You're trying to do stuff, and it's an activity that you could do. Same with camper sales. Camper sales went through the roof the last 2 years, but it was just the opportunity to do something and to get out and do an activity. And camping kept us sane for the last 2 years, I can tell you that. So just with the activity with the kids and getting out of the house and stuff like that. So
absolutely, yeah.
But and like I say, lots of good memories. I said I can. Where do we start?
let's start at the start.
Start at the start. Youth bowling. Village Inn Bowl for 11 years. Village Inn now, well, it was Academy West. They just recently changed to Westwood Lanes. 11 years of that. Great times. First year was instruction, bowling between my legs, won a high average award. And I don't know if that's how it started or not, but they switched me to one-handed the next year. And then the following year went to provincials, won a bantam bronze in Thompson. When they were traveling up there at the time, and David Wassel was coaching that team, and then get into juniors, and then my game started coming around a bit, a couple of singles runs, and into seniors. But YBC actually was a big challenge for me. I didn't have a lot of success in YBC. Zone level, it was almost always Matt Stewart bowling in our zone, and for the singles, and then we had there was quite a Academy lanes and Polo Park lanes, quite a few names that were coming out of there, just to get out of that zone C at the time. And then if you got out of there, then you were facing the likes of Corey Martell back in the day, and some of those guys. So I think of some of the singles matches that I lost along the way, a couple of singles silvers in Manitoba. But I still, I look back at the times, and I like Flo and Cindy Welch, a big thank you to them, and Tim, they let me bowl a lot there, the Smith family, Harry and Tracy, and then I look at coaches like Doug Sargent and Deanne Elias, Deanne Zielinski, who works at the Federation there now. Big impact in my life. I've always said she's my second mom, and we were just talking this week about how our kids are playing tournaments now, and mine and my brothers both, our kids are playing tournaments now, and how crazy it is. We're talking 30 plus years ago, but yeah, just just stuff like that. And really seniors was when success hit for me, because the Winnipeg had the seniors kind of introduced like this cash tour that was going around from alley house to alley house, and kind of started getting into that and started playing some of the bigger tournaments there with them. And then Kyle Hendon and I started running one at Village Inn for a couple of years there too, and had some success there with that. And then so Kyle Hendon came from Windsor over to Village Inn there for a while, and then that's when the Village Inn kind of put together some pretty strong seniors teams that kind of rattled everybody for a little bit. We had it was when Brad Arsenault bowled the perfect game up in Thompson. That was in 97, 98, one of the two. And then our team in 99, it was myself and my brother, the Ruddocks, Colin and Mike, and then Alan Powell. Kind of put we two sets of brothers on one team, and show up at provincials and found our lines early. I had a big day that day, and that was in 99 for our team. And then we won the provincials and went to Rossmere Lanes in Winnipeg for nationals, and the senior boys team was pretty powerhouse for them too that year. So we kind of shook that one up and then went across the city to bowl nationals. But
were you guys YBC then too, Tim?
99 would have been our first year junior. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, first year junior.
First year junior.
So would you have had two sets as well? Would have been the Wisemans and the Ulopas?
In 2001, when we won nationals, there was two. Yeah, it was me and Tim, Marty and Marku, and then Nick.
But this trivia question, I mean, Brad had said that there's two sets of brothers on the same team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how often that's happened across the country in these tournaments? Two sets of brothers.
Yeah, true enough.
So it's pretty special. That day at Polo Park, so I'll share the story too, is my wife, April, was a bowler in Brandon for a number of years too. And when we won provincials in 99 at Polo Park, she was actually on the next lane over, seeing this goofball jump up and down like a yo-yo after his team won provincials. And then, so then of course, then we hook up 10 years later, sharing the same story. And it's like, oh yeah, wait a second, I remember you. It was kind of crazy, but yes, it's so that was kind of the YBC days. It was and great friendships out of it. I said the guys, especially like Tim and Mike Savory and Tim Hooper, obviously developed a great friendship, and Larry Weeb and kind of our poker group, essentially, for the most part. We were getting together pretty much every Wednesday night and playing, and now we do it every so often because of the families and the kids and all that fun stuff. But really, it got us out there playing and competing, and like I say, my brother actually pretty much quit bowling after YBC days. Kind of got out of it, and I kind of carried it right through wherever I went, from Thompson to Grand Prairie to when I lived in Grand Prairie for the 7 months, I played I played a league at HJ's and a league at Family Affair. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I was there for the couple of months before I moved back home, they're probably like, who was that guy? Shot a 920 triple one night at Family Affair, and then I was gone 2 weeks later. And I moved back to Winnipeg. Like a flash in the pan already. So I apologize, guys. I didn't mean to run on you, but
no, you made the right choice.
but let's hold up. Alberta's North have had like a lot of great players to come up for like 1 year or 2 years. We just had Crystal. We had Amber Newberger. We had Brad Rusnak. We had Erica Ledge. Remember, Erica was up there for a little bit. We had some really good players up there. Just never stayed. Maybe it's their hospitality. Maybe if Gerald was still there, right? So
yeah.
So you got started bowling in YBC when you were 11. What got you started?
So I started bowling when I was 8. 7, 8,
okay.
Actually.
11 years at Village Inn.
11 years at Village Inn, yeah.
Right.
So I started in instruction. My parents bowled for a number of years up in Thompson. Mom was into it a bit, and then she, with wrist and hand stuff, she just didn't like doing it as much. But Dad still liked playing quite a bit. And then as I got older, I started playing adult leagues with my dad and a couple of the others. Bob Peden, I'm going to mention Bob Peden's name. He was one of our YBC coordinator there for a number of years. And Wayne Howarth, and of course Deanne took over after that. But it was my parents that got me involved in it, and I just enjoyed it. I loved being at the lanes. I stuck with it. I don't know, and I bowled well, and coaches thought I played well, and at the time, and it was always kind of encouraging to stay in it. And in hockey, I remember the one year Deanne was quite happy when I messed up my knee playing hockey. She's like, you don't need to play hockey, you need to bowl anyway. And so it worked out well in the end. But so that was I still remember the old double diamond lanes in there. I said it was and Village Inn had pretty rich history in the past too for tournaments and stuff like that. And
now double diamond lanes, they have an extra board, right?
Was that what it was? Maybe that's what helped me at the time.
It's either one board more or one board less. It's one of the two. So with regular lanes, you have an odd number of boards because obviously the one in the center is the odd one, right? But with double diamond, they actually had one extra, so the arrow was off to one side.
Yeah, I remember the one being off a little bit too with that kind of stuff. So
I think it's one more, Dex. I think it's like 40 boards. It was 41 on double diamond.
I'll wait for Tim to type it in. He'll know.
Yeah, I know. It would be an
39 and 40. I'm pretty sure.
39 and 40. Yeah. Sean Eby brought it up. I remember that. Yeah.
And then so YBC, I stayed the one more year. I ended up in Thompson for the 2 years up there, and 2 Manitoba North teams that were very strong and still got beat in the provincial finals the 2 years. But I had a singles run 1 year. John DeChambeau came up the ladder and beat me in the final twice. And I was so young, I didn't even know what was going on, I think, at the time. But so I had a singles run there too 1 year. And but bowling from the north and playing Masters, 2001 Masters, bowling with Nick DiVirgilio up there quite a bit too. Actually worked at his lanes part-time when I was on the radio at the same time.
And he still owns those lanes, right?
And he still owns North Center Crossroad Lanes, yeah. It was I learned quite a bit from him competing with him too. But Ryan and Doug Whalen and Daryl Cater and DeChambeau and Lauren, I said it was and the Stewart family, of course, Rick running it, and the Stewarts too. I've mentioned Matt's name, but I know Bill was very involved in YBC at the time when I was growing up too. And the Stewarts running Thompson Lanes at the time, no longer there. That was another 12-lane alley house that is no longer there. So now Thompson's down to 4 lanes of 5-pin in the city up there. So we can't. It makes it so hard to go up there to play a tournament and stuff like that.
On a side note about Thompson, sorry, Brad. People don't realize at one point back, I think it was the 70s or 80s, that Thompson had the most YBC memberships in the country. They had all day Saturday. It was like 300 plus memberships in YBC.
our YBC program at Village, I mean, it was 16 lanes full of 4 and 5 player teams, and it was a bantam junior or instruction bantam to start in the first shift, and then a junior senior shift after that. And it was 5-6 hours at the lanes every day. And I said it was the numbers back then. I'm crushed to see some of the numbers now. I said it's when in '99 I said there was over 40,000 bowlers in the YBC program, and today it's under 10,000. But yeah, I said it was just one of those things, and Thompson is one of those places again that's so remote that there's not much there to do. So it was kind of thrilling to see that the bowling world had that bite of the pie up there essentially at that time too, right? And you look at it in the business sense of even through COVID, I said it was tough to see the bowling alleys shut down because and to try to make it work in certain ways, but yeah, good times there, like I say, and Thompson was good times. I said I thanked them very much for all that, and it was. If any of my high school friends happen to watch this, they're going to be like, I can't believe he's even doing this. Like he was the quietest kid in high school forever, and hated presentations and hated getting in front of classes, and then I end up on radio and talking on a mic and doing podcasts. But just the personal side of it, I think Thompson changed my life in a lot of ways. Took me out of that shell and got me more involved in community and scenes, that kind of stuff. And then moving to Grand Prairie was a little bit of a culture shock, a different change for sure. I didn't know very many people there at all. My cousins lived there, so I did have a connection to move in with them and love them for that. It was good times there. I lived with them and their 3 kids and got to know them quite well in the brief time that I was there. And like I said, I didn't get to do much with the bowling world there because I wasn't there long enough. I moved there in the summer, and then I moved out in the start of 2002 and then moved back to Winnipeg. So the reasons for moving back to Winnipeg otherwise, and I talk openly about it today because to me, it's, especially now, I look at it more like an awareness thing and help out. But, my dad passed in 2005 from cancer. Again, avid bowler, and he was sponsor of our teams on at the St. James League on Friday nights. And I miss him a lot, but that was a big reason for coming back home, finding out that it had spread and it wasn't going to make it. And he went a lot longer than they said he was going to make it. But so that was a big reason too in coming back home. But it was a very hard time in life for me. I want to actually, for where I am now, there's a big thank you to Dwight Hurd. When I moved back to Winnipeg, and apologies in a sense to Shar, because her and I did get together and we were dating for a while, and great girl. She's a great woman and she has great kids, and I hope the best for her too. But Dwight was a mechanic at Fountain Tire at the time, and I was a kid who came out of the broadcasting world and didn't know what I was going to do. And lots of questions, and my dad's ill and stuff like that. And so he gave me an opportunity to jump in at Fountain Tire and to learn the mechanical world. And jumped in as an assistant manager there. And he'll probably say I took the ball and ran with it, but he got me introduced to this world. And here I am 20 years later and still in the automotive world and successfully running businesses in the automotive world. And so I thank him a lot for that. Thanks to the bowling world, I wouldn't know this family. I said, they're great people. I always had great conversations with Chad and Judy too. I said, Jake came to one of the last Masters tournaments that I played, and poor Jake got a little ill at the bowling tournament. And she was the first one there to help April with him. So I thanked them for that. But yes, it was, and then going through all the motions at that time, but I jumped back into the Friday night league at St. James, and even before I moved away, I had a great conversation with the Divinis at the Manitoba Open this year, after I was eliminated, and I had Diane in tears. And but the Davini family, I have absolute love for. Even before I moved away, Les Wuss and Mike let me bowl there a lot, and they didn't charge me very much either, but sometimes they didn't. But they let me work on my game there a lot, and it was a big part of my life for some of the success that I had, and it's a big thank you to them. I love them much, and then getting into St. James Lanes and playing the All-Star League, and a lot of people don't know I was having a really hard time at life at that time with everything that was going on. But I took a full year off. So from 2001, when I made nationals in Saskatoon for Masters, I didn't actually make nationals again until 2010. Life was a roller coaster. And if a lot of people are watching this, they're probably going to say, yeah, I probably agree. And so this is where some of my apologies probably come in. I was an arrogant jerk for about 4 years, and I didn't deserve to be. But I took a full year off bowling, and a lot of people. I went back to school full time. I was full time evening in school, taking HR management and management development, and working full time during the days. And I had another relationship going on at the time, and for some reason I opened up to her a lot more than I ever did anybody else. But she was the one that really kind of pointed me in the direction of seeking some assistance to get through some things in life. And so over a 12-year period, that's what I did. So I hit a lot of stuff in, and I'm happy to say today that I came out of that. And right at the time I came out of that, I said I got back into the league again. I was finishing up school, and I met April all at the same time there. Then in 2008, ended up moving out to Western Manitoba to be with April. Got into the community out here, and that's kind of how that all played out. And then, Carrie, I've seen you post a couple of times about how you get your struggles in there at times, and sometimes things just don't jive. And I'm with you. I understand. And as horoscope as it might sound, I said very seldom in my life have I had bowling and love and money kind of all fall into the same positive spot at the same time, right? But and you could throw work in there too, probably. I said I could probably bowl a 400, but I was probably unemployed when I did it. But just the fact that from those years, from after I moved out here with April, we got engaged in 2009, and then 2010 hit, and one fateful day at Rossmere Lanes, it was the day that changed my whole career forever. And I show up to the last Masters tournament that I thought started at 9:00, and I walked in at 8:30, and they're doing announcements, and the warm-up had already stopped, and I felt like such an idiot that day, and didn't get a chance to throw a bowling ball, and I just started bowling, and threw 24-22 for 8 that day, and ended up winning singles for Masters.
With no warm-up.
I'm still shocked. To this day, I'm still shocked at that day. But I was comfortable on the team that year. But I remember it was a 190 game in game 3, and the rest were 300s, I believe. And all I remember that day really is being put on the lane with Randy Morissette. And Randy, I threw the first ball in 10 in the last shot, and I really didn't know what was going on at the time. And Randy came up and tapped me on the shoulders and said, "You just won singles." And I'm like, "What? How did that happen?" But yeah, and so that was the craziest day for me that I ever had in bowling, even to this day. But I went on to singles that year, and Sudbury, finished 6th. I developed a great friendship with Jeff Watts out of that tournament, and introduced him to Marla, And now look at them. I'll wait for the comment on that one.
Yeah, she did comment. Yeah.
So I love those two. But I said that was kind of the start to it. And then the Open that year also went to nationals on the team. And then 2011 was my glory year. I rode it. Had the perfect game at St. James at the Manitoba Open that year when it was fizzling out a little bit at the end.
That's right.
With that, and then the singles run, another singles run for Masters, and a team run for the Open. And that's cool, man. That's awesome. He's my big teddy bear. We'll
just throw that up there for the world to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I saw the comment. I was like, yeah, it's fine. But and then 2012 singles for the Open, winning that one in Brandon was still one of my most special moments for sure. And then playing Sean in the final in Gatineau in his home alley house, and we went toe to toe that whole 30 games. So we were 1-2 pretty much that whole tournament, and he kind of overtook me right at the end, and then I ended up playing Derek in the semifinal that year, and we kind of had a grind out battle, and then I ended up going to the final, but I only started throwing strikes after the pressure was off. But still, to be in that moment, and so to be in that moment was special for me, and I look back on it, and I will say thank you to Jeff Bourne for the many conversations, for the life lessons. But,
does that guy talk?
That guy talks. He talks. But actually, 2001 in Masters in Saskatoon, I was on the tournament men's team. We won bronze that year, and I remember being at the singles to watch him and Tom Patterson play in the final. Great match, and I just remember saying to Mom and Dad, I want to be that guy at some point in time, and it was good that way, and. I said I learned a lot from him too. I said it was fun and good times, and I also learned not to buy lottery tickets for yourself when you buy them for the group. But I said I'll throw that in there too, Jeff. I said I love you too, man. But I said life lessons. I said if I ever win the lottery, my whole workplace is winning the lottery, so that's good. But I'll throw that in there. But no, short of that, Yes, like I say, I go back to that too. I said, there's so many people in Manitoba that even after playing the tour, I said, I learned a lot from watching others bowl and what they do, what their pre-routines are, what balls they're throwing, how they're throwing the ball. I said, I'm kind of a product of watching everybody succeed and try to implement it in my game. And that's kind of how I go with it. So I'm thankful I was able to implement a lot and the adjustments that I can make in the game. I thought about that the other day with the pal it was commented. I'm not going to say it. You can show it. But good times. But I said it's I just look back at some of those glory years of 2010 to 2013 and some great teams that we played on, and I wish we had a little more success. But what do you do? I said it's some great experiences, and again I apologize to Manitoba. I said my arm just started giving out on me as time went on at that, and through that, and I remember Mike messaged me the day that I said I had to quit cold turkey, and he said it's one of the hardest things you can do is stop, but you got to get healed and do what you got to do. And so that's what I had to do. So then that, and then, I said it's to come back from that and then to join the tour. I'm so thankful I got to play the tour with you guys. Really. I said to Boyd Autobody, of course, who looked after me for a lot of that. I said it made the traveling and the trips a lot easier to do it. It wasn't an easy thing to do, coming provinces over to play.
What would be what's your favorite tournament on tour?
Well, I had the most success at Golden Mile in Regina, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what it was with there. I walk in there and my shot just works there. And I never really had to adjust. I never had to change very much for my shot. It just worked. You'll laugh at this, guys, but I loved Collingwood the 1 year that I was there.
Collingwood was so good.
Collingwood was awesome.
And I'll even go back to say the match that I had with Jen Baker at Collingwood. In our first round match, we both shot 900s at each other. And I remember it was a punch or miss to fall short. And she, and I know she was pretty upset about the miss. And I gave it a few minutes, and then I went back over to her and I said, okay, you're going to run the B side. We're going to do this again in the final. And I'm pretty sure she went deeper than me in that tournament than I did that year. But you know what? Just another great friendship and kind of cracked my mold to come into the tour. And
it did. I remember that one. Yeah.
Not to mention the fact, I mean, Jen's just a flat out amazing bowler anyway. Mm-hmm. And one of them that I looked up to. And her and her family, and her mom's terrific, and great conversations with them too. I you know, I especially early on when you guys started the podcasts and hearing you talk about different things and adjustments and routines and such, and I took it all in and I implemented it. And Adam, I said to him that I'll definitely give him the mention, because especially early on, one of the first tournaments in Calgary that I played, and watching him play, and the success that he was having, especially with start lines, it was cool. And you don't see any of that. I look back at some of the, and Schultz obviously, and you guys, and we've started bowling together the more we played, and watching you guys have the success on the tour too. And really, like I say, I'm a product of watching you, and I'm blessed that I was able to implement what I could in the game to have the success that I did.
Yeah, we've said it lots. There's no stopping at learning in this game. There's always something to learn. There's always something you could do better and find success with. And that's what makes people better forever. But also just watching on those days too, and sometimes going into a center where, you know, your shot's not working, watching other people can make a world of difference, because you could figure out what is working in that center and then implement it for even that weekend, right?
Yeah, it was Jeff that told me a long time ago, you got to have a B shot and play a completely different line and play
Watts?
From the Jeff Bourne.
Oh, okay. I was like, Jeff Watts doesn't have an A shot. Kidding.
There you go, boy. And so actually, it was after that conversation that summer I played from the left. I was always played from the right, and I said, okay, I got to try something totally different and to play a different shot. And actually, the day that I made it to the tour final in Red Deer in that August, and I struggled like crazy in the play. I was shooting $150s in the qualifying round, and I said, what do I do? And I remember making a 3-board tweak to the left side of the head center, which I don't do very often. And then at least I looked good throwing 280s on the TV show when the recording was on. But luckily they didn't see the qualifying before that. But and Tyler ended up winning that year, of course, which was I mean, the Tidcats, amazing talents in this game.
Incredible.
Yeah. And
I think with all the talent coming in, you know, lately, that's why it's forcing people to have to learn different techniques and adjust and make different lines, right? Like you can't be stubborn like the old days and play one line. It has been a bit of a conversation, and hey, you got to start learning, and where are you going to start, and what line are you going to play, and you need to be confident with a couple different ones.
I only really started working on my slide after a podcast when you guys were talking about it one day. And I actually started really focusing on where I was actually starting and stopping. And it's not something I really looked at before that, but I actually implement it in the kids quite a bit. It's like pushing it out.
Oh, perfect.
Well, Carrie's doesn't slide. Carrie's a planter, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Are you a bit of a planter too? I'm a 10-foot slide to get this old body going.
Yeah.
To get it going. I said, the kids, the house bowling shoes. I know that a lot of them don't have a lot of slide these days, but you see the kids kind of stopping and then taking the extra step after they throw the ball, trying to get it going. And I don't know what to do about it, but just to let them learn and let them keep growing into it, and eventually they'll come out of it.
And DB, we slide. It's just that we use something really low so that we have to drive hard into it to get that.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have those sliders on, we would never stop.
Yeah.
It just slide forever.
I like a long slide. I really do.
You do. You've always had a long slide.
I've always had a very long slide, a long third step, and a lot of push on the ball. But it's also what helped get my rotation on the shot too, like to get that extra torque on the shot with the. I think if it was any shorter, and that's the half the problem that I've had this year is that I moved up a good, probably half a foot from what I did before. So, and that's why I feel like I don't have the same release that I had 2 or 3 years ago, because I don't have that same power behind it coming up to it. But just kind of the way that I've looked at it. But
I think older you get. I mean, Kerry hasn't got that old. He's almost there, right? So 3 more years until he hits 40, I think, right? But besides that, maybe less than that. Anyways, but I think the longer you go, I think I benefited from going a more of a slide. Even though I use an H1, I use S10s or S11s or whatever it is. I find it makes it a lot easier. I'm less sore after the events, or usually after I'm done, right? Where we used to have maybe an S8 or S6 or whatever, and we're driving more into it, trying to finish your shot more, and I find that
I'm using an S2 H1.
If there was an S1, I would use an S1.
Your body hasn't given up on you, because that's exactly as Tim. I'm the same way. If I do a short slide, my knee, my quad, that lower back is just pounding.
I'm not sore. I'm not sore at all from it. But and on the opposite, if I end up going with a longer slide, I end up losing all of my aggression and all my rotation and all that stuff with it too. I find them more.
I'm more sore if the lanes are slicker, for sure.
Yeah.
I switched to a 10 this year. I always used 7 or 8 or sometimes 6, depending on how bad it was. But I'm actually up to the 10 this year, and all year I've had the 10 on the shoe. I haven't even changed it.
I guess a shorter slide, you can have better balance, right? Because you're not sliding as far per se, unless you're going to be jamming and then you're coming over top of it.
It just makes it so that you get everything culminates to that one explosion point with it. And whereas when you I'm not even going to touch that. When you have the longer slide, you have a longer window to kind of have that. But when you have that short slide, everything just kind of drives in all at that one time. You generate all your power all at that explosion point. And that's where you just get that. Like a shitload of.
That's one of the data things we need to collect. Is
I was gonna say, where's Jay Brains when you need him?
Yeah, what type of balls are you throwing? What type of slide do you use? What's your approach? All these things we need to.
If you're like Tim, you don't want anybody touching your bowling ball.
Well, you know what? Let's bring this up right now, okay? Belmonte is causing a huge issue about people getting within USBC. Take his bowling balls.
He's not causing the issue.
No, let me put it this way. So USBC takes the bowling balls, they go behind a black curtain, and they test it. They did. They did to him. They did. You can look. He came out and talked about
denied it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, what's going to happen is Kerry's going to take my bowling balls behind that freaking curtain, and he's going to abuse them, right? It's always about what Kerry needs, right? And at this point,
he's gonna abuse your bowling balls. What is he gonna for sure smack him and call him a bad boy? What
is he gonna do?
Tim did to Katie's towel, maybe.
I should get that back tomorrow. I think I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Anyways, where are you going with that, Tim? What's
I just think that I
Belmonte?
do think
What's going on?
Oh yeah, he got in trouble. He's getting in trouble.
No,
or there was something.
No, he's not. So
Okay.
the USBC has the Masters this week. So they want to test urethane bowling balls for their Shore D hardness. So they told Belmonte, or everybody that was throwing Storm bowling balls, that they wanted his bowling balls given to the USBC so they can do testing. He asked that if he could be in the room when they do the testing. They said no, so he said, no, you're not testing my bowling balls.
Right.
But
Why
they went
did he
ahead.
not?
They tested a bunch of different Storm products, and they've listed a bunch that they're disallowing for USBC.
Right. They put a disallowed list out or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyle
That's why
and
they're
Brad
running
lost theirs, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a certain line, 6 different lines of bowling balls that are not allowed to play USBC events, but the PBA has reinstituted them for the PBA.
But
So
there's so
it's
much
like-
more variance in 10-pin bowling balls there are.
Oh, yeah.
5-pin. Like
Yeah,
there's
ridiculous.
very little change with ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
100%.
The thumb hole ball. Instead of
Oh, yeah, that was-
thumb hole
Oh my
ball.
god.
It's perfectly round. No, it's not.
It sure
And it
is.
can never be.
It's got a flat spot this friggin' big.
Bang.
And they got certified.
Let's
Oh my God,
while we're
certified.
talking slides, let's just do a small snapshot here for fun. Everybody's watching. What slider are you using? Are you using an S10, S12, S2? What slider are you using? If you don't know, you just don't know. You're using a standard,
The first thing I'm going to say is don't be afraid to change it from center to center. So in Sherwood Park and Bonnie Doon, I use an S2H1 because they're both super fast approaches. But if you go to like a normal center, like Paradise lanes or any like standard wood lanes, then I'm generally back to an S8 H5. You kind of your regular slider and heel, but in Sherwood Park and Bonnie Doon, S1 H2 as slow as possible.
S10 H1.
Golden Mile, same thing. Yeah.
I'm a slider 10, and I think I'm an S4 on my heel too. I got 2 sliders.
But Daryl's wearing the old man Skechers too, right?
Oh yeah, buddy.
Ever since I had
10-foot runway for this old guy, Russell. Yeah. So there you go. I'm the same as Tyson Nelson. Yeah.
I've always had the red heel,
Yeah.
always. Like I've never used a rubber heel since
S4,
SST6s.
A lot of S10s coming.
And yeah, I was gonna say a lot of S10s out there. I'm kind of surprised. Like I said, I maybe I was in the minority using S6s for even with how long of a slide I had. But yeah, I don't know. I said it's
There's a few of these.
Yeah, Lynn Howell and the sock bowl.
sock. I was gonna say the sock. I was just gonna say you have a lot of people that just slide the sock on. I know.
But Dex, I think you made a big point there is direct about changing your slider at different bowling centers. If you're not doing that, consider that as part of your repertoire for different centers because it will make a difference.
It made a world of difference in my game.
In the old days, again, we didn't do that. We wore standard shoes that didn't have changeable sliders. So,
and honestly, I had the standard changer. I could change them, but I didn't really start changing them until like 4 or 5 years ago. When I'm like, why am I changing the way that I throw the ball when I could just change my shoes and just throw it the same way?
Yeah.
Just try to create the consistency, right?
Huge.
Jeff, I've never heard of an S13.
There's an S13
odd numbering.
No, there isn't. He just Jeff's just being Jeff. That's Jeff. We love you. Maybe next time Marla can speak for you. Okay.
Slide to the moon, baby. So there you go.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Brad, have you always used the same
No.
bowling ball? You said something about star lines before, or do you have a few different bowling balls that you'd use as well?
I pretty much use 4 7/8 Paramount pretty much everywhere. I've had the most success with it. Calgary, I bought a set of I can't even think now. I had star lines for the longest time. Switched to Paramount, and then I picked up a set of Cobras that I was playing with at T-Birds here for a few years, and then he put out the plain ball. I'm losing my thought process. The The solid color ball. Help me out.
Cyclone?
Solid. There was Paramount Solids.
Oh gosh. Anyways, so
the Aramiths.
Aramiths. There you go, Aramith.
There we go.
And so I've got a set of those that I play with religiously at T-Birds now. I won provincials at that, but Golden Miles, all I take is Paramount. And I was throwing Paramount at Sherwood this year when I shot the 22 from the left side. Got that. I wasn't even going to mention it, Mark, in the 32s. I was hungry, but I don't know where that came from either. That was a good day. I was averaging like 300 through 12 games that day in the first 4 matches, and that was a good run. And then I went bang bang. It was the year before that I made the Final Four. But I had to think about that. But yeah, no, I've switched balls. I've taken the suitcase everywhere, and Nationals Open in Gatineau in 2012. I ended up playing with house balls because I couldn't get anything else going early, and I was messing around in practice with the house balls, and it worked, and I played the entire tournament. Took 6 bowling balls with me to Gatineau, and I played the house balls the whole weekend. It happens, but it is an option. But yeah, the hardest house I played at on the tour was Paradise. I always seemed to be adjusting a lot there when I was playing, and then I made the 40s when I switched the bowling balls there. But yeah, it was good. I said I've never been afraid to make the ball change. Especially if I'm feeling it in that sense and stuff like that. But adjusting, I said I have no fear jumping from left side to right side.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
To jump back and forth if I need to. I'm probably overcoaching my kids trying to help them out with different shots, but it's nice to see them talking to me, saying I moved a board this way or a board that way, and trying to get into the lingo of it. So it's fun that way, but.
It's crazy how many adults still just don't make those small changes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let alone the big changes.
Got to be able to change. Got to make changes.
Totally.
And especially the conditions change and the proprietors do different things to the lanes and you walk in and you got to make an adjustment. So it makes it fun and change. Do I talk about changes and stuff like that, but I could talk about how Manitoba's changed. Manitoba's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And if I could throw that in there, we lost Daryl. Where'd he go?
His internet was giving him problems.
He's lost to cyberspace.
Lost cause in some sense. No, I don't know. But, no, like I said, I think I've played pretty much every alley house in Manitoba. Not quite all of them, but most of them, I think. Yeah, even the ones that have shut down a bit. I love Masters. I love the Open. I love the traveling back and forth to tournaments and such like that. And I did want to talk a little bit today about how the province has changed so much. Mm-hmm. And if that's cool with everybody, I talk about how we've talked about how we're not sending full contingents to things anymore, and how we're not sending full teams and stuff like that, and how the numbers have come down so far. And I like I said earlier, I'm crushed to see that kind of stuff. But I love the Masters. I said I traveled a lot to play Masters out of Thompson and from Brandon here now, and stuff like that. And I wish that people were playing everything like they should be. I said there's the Open's capped to 32 people. It probably could have 100 people if it was signed up the right way and set the right way. And Masters is the same way. And I can tell you another 10 or 20 people that probably should be playing Masters that aren't right now. Yeah. And because of the way of the world and and it's not because of a person. I think it's because of the simple logistics of Manitoba and the geographical setup that Manitoba is. It sucks for a lot of sports, and I wish that I almost wish everybody was a little bit closer together in a sense. But you look at Manitoba and you see Winnipeg off to the one corner sort of thing, and then we don't really. Brandon is that second hub, but there's not a lot of that there. And then now we've lost so many other alley houses, and we don't really have anything to the north that's strong like that anymore. And I said, and you look at when you look at Alberta, that has Edmonton and Calgary and Red Deer and multiple hubs to send bowlers from, and Saskatchewan has multiple hubs to send bowlers from, maybe down a bit. But I said, the setups and stuff like that, and the numbers that have come down, I've said for a while that I kind of wish to see some change in our game. And I don't know how everybody feels about that. I love the history of our game, and I love the tournaments and stuff, but we're missing a boat here in Manitoba.
I totally agree.
And
I really hope that the way that the Open is run at least does go back to some sort of traditional sense here soon. It just doesn't seem. It's just the Open is so huge. The Open is so great. It's great having like the banquets and getting all those teams together and playing. And Manitoba as a whole just has such a large number of top quality players. It seems like an absolute shame to me to send 4 men and 4 ladies when they could be sending a whole contingent. I'm not a huge.
So you got to look back at what it was 20 years ago compared to now. And I said we had the North, we had Westman, Central, Winnipeg. So like the North, for example, I said there was 12 lanes at one alley house and 4 lanes at another. Now it's just down to 4. I said there was Flin Flon and the Paw in the North that are no longer existent. I said so that entire region basically lost almost everything.
So you can't really run it the same.
And of course that, right? And then I look at the Westman zone. I mean, I can look at Central. I said you lost the Neepawa lanes, which was 10 or 12 lanes. Minnedosa had 8 lanes. They put a restaurant on lanes 1 and 2, made it 6 lanes. I look at Westman and how like Westman has Brandon and Carberry and Boissevain and Killarney, and now without Boissevain and Killarney because they're not affiliating themselves with the zone anymore. So you're down to an 8-lane house and a 4-lane house in one zone.
You
and then
can't
of course
do it the same. Yeah.
And then you've got Winnipeg with multiple lanes. I said it's and then of course when they pulled themselves out of the M5 a few years back, it was a tough situation and a tough reality. And I look at Masters today and I say, okay, 6 tournaments, 6 different Sundays, 6 games each Sunday. But for like Brandonite to go to Winnipeg, it's gas money, it's food money. If you're starting at 8:30 or 9, you'd have to either leave Brandon very early or you're going the night before. So and I know Hammer and Ethan used to get hotels and stuff like that. I said you're talking $500 a weekend times 6, and I said it adds up. And I said it's a tough situation. And Karen's right. I'm thrilled to see Winnipeg bowlers back in it the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I said to have an option to play, and it's and Masters gives the $50 discount, as Jason is saying, at the start for your membership. And I said it's just that, and that's I got to make it very clear that's not why I'm not playing this year. The doctor told me how much I can play, and I'm not playing because of that. But and I'm a diehard. I said I would play anyway, but I said there's just a lot of people that I'd like to see it start coming back again, and it just needs the support of everybody to come together and do it
for sure. So Brad, I completely agree. I think your Manitoba for the open situation has a possibility of getting better than it is. I mean, obviously with Karen, Winnipeg 5 is back now. I think the situation right now is obviously Winnipeg. I'm not going to get into the political portion, right? But Winnipeg isn't able to run their zone trials. Obviously, that makes a little bit of a difference. And if you're not able to play in a larger center for your open provincials, then you're limited what you can run at your open provincials with what lanes you have available, right? Yeah. However, it looks like there's more positive things out of it coming out lately that I noticed, and it seems good. Like if you asked me at the beginning of the year if you see this at your event at T-Birds, I would say no because of everything going on, and for it to be hosted at T-Birds, I think it's a very positive change, and I think it's a good thing, and I hope to see that. And we saw Jamie Newton coach the Youth Challenge national team in Calgary this past weekend, and I thought that was a positive thing. I think things are changing on the relationship side. It might be a little bit slow, but I think it's a positive moving forward, right? So this year might not be there, and obviously I can't speak on behalf of M5 or anything like that, but my guess is the reason why they only did mixed teams is because obviously they need to have more money in the pool with more entries or how they're handling things to have more.
And you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, no, so
I completely understand, and I completely agree.
Yeah,
it's just there definitely needs to be a point where they start sending full contingents again because there's just so many talented people.
100%.
Absolutely. I said, especially coming out of the COVID times, and I was just going to say the same thing. 2 years of COVID didn't help anything.
No.
But to come out of COVID and have some sort of new attraction to the events again. And I've said for some time, and I've commented on your guys' things a couple of times that I for the numbers that there are today, is there too many events right now? And I've kind of felt that it's just one pulls away from the other one, and I've seen that a lot in Manitoba. And I said I'd love to see 100 people play one tournament again, and to get it out there and have the big events and stuff like that. But how that happens, even I don't know. I said it's. I've always said you might have to cut down the number of events, but I mean there's such a history between the Open and Masters, and what do you lose? What don't you lose? And I said it's or what do you change? And the YBC numbers, I'm crushed to see the numbers that are down so much from that, and love to see it come back up again. But I don't know. I love to see that the tour numbers. I love to see your numbers on the tour have grown quite a bit. And from a standpoint of Manitoba, I said you're seeing more Manitobans join this tour the last year or two, which is very encouraging. It's great to see them coming out to play, and some of the younger ones that are coming up to play, like the Coltons and the Andrew LaMonicas and those guys. I said, especially with the kids now, I see them all the youth tournaments, and they're lighting it up, and it's great to see it. But just stuff like that. I said, I really, and it's great to see Winnipeg back, and I know Karen's pushing it hard out there, and I love her for it, and I hope it gains traction even more and stuff like that. But just the whole deterioration of the game, and like all the lane beds that have been lost, especially outside of Winnipeg. Winnipeg's lost its share too with Park and St. Patel and Windsor and to name a few. And I said it's I'd love to see it start taking those positive steps again. It's the one thing.
It's going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard to. How do you rebuild bowling centers, though? I mean, unfortunately we've lost 12s and 8s, and do we ever see that coming back, and how does it look like coming back? And that's the unfortunate thing is
not with real estate prices, right?
In rural settings,
what does bowling look like?
I think you're gonna see bowling alleys turn into FECs, right? And then that's gonna turn into that where I mean, I hate to say it, you see the new brew house stuff, you see all that stuff coming out. That's what bowling's going to, the traditional format for those centers that have availability on it, is going to have to figure out another way for alternative money, right? And you look at somebody like Heritage Lanes, they have a great kitchen and they have a little arcade area. T-Birds is the same way. That's the way bowling's turning. Uptown. Uptown, in order to keep that kind of revenue going. As for building, I just don't see anything building unless it's something like that. Yeah. It's real tough, right? Or if you have a good lease or good backers or good money in your pocket in order to offset it for years to come, right?
Yeah. The automotive world right now is just seeing such a backlog of parts and supplies and everything. It's going to take a couple of years to bounce back from what's happened the last 2 years. And in that sense, the supply and demand and the freight issues and stuff like that. So, but for real estate to come down, vehicle prices are going up. I said it's gonna be very hard to start something new again for the next while, for sure, without a doubt. But yeah, no, I just wanted to kind of throw it out there that it's I certainly don't blame anybody. Like I'm sad to see kind of how it's come down, but Manitoba, I've always loved Manitoba. I love our province, and I certainly hope that more people come together with it again and start playing together, and let's grow these tournaments again, have some fun with it. Yeah, I would love to do it. And hopefully maybe you'll pick me to coach you. Hey, that'd be cool. But
Pro League, isn't Aaron and Brandon looking to put in a Pro League? So maybe Brad's the manager.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know they were trying to get a team with the Pro League out there too, but I don't know. I would have to do something on the sidelines. I would probably keep score or something, but you never know. Keeping score back in the day.
Brad, I'm going to throw this out here, and maybe I could be wrong, but if your kids end up being of age in order to play the Open and they're competitive, do we see you come back and maybe try to give it another shot?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, because it becomes different, right? It's different because you might have an opportunity to do that, and I think I don't think this is going to be the last of you, but we never know, right? So,
well, if maybe by then I can cut off the arm and put a robotic one on and let the robot throw the shot. Who knows, right? And
throwing aids are not allowed.
Yeah, I actually and as you mentioned, my kids, I love. They're awesome. I said if I get to play with them, great. I'll play with them in the family twosome probably, and I'll play with them and I'll coach them for sure. But to throw it out there, I wanted to just talk a little bit about my kids briefly too before this wraps up. Yeah. For those that don't know, and we have posted it on Facebook a few times, that both of my boys have ocular albinism, and what that is basically they're legally blind, but they have a spot in the middle of their eye that basically, as you open your eye and you're watching a video, the spot grows bigger and bigger, and until you blink again, and then it goes away. So I wanted to share this story because it's kind of important for April and I in our lives here in Brandon. The last number of years, April and I kind of closed our door a little bit and took it out. And so the 2012, 2013 years, I started having some arm problems. And my Jake was born at that time, and we kind of had a few issues. Long story short is when you have a kid with blue eyes and both the parents have brown eyes, it creates a lot of problems, right? But so we had a lot of fun, and there's some apologies there to a few people that are close to us. They know who they are, and I hope they know that we love them. And but it took 3 years for anybody to say anything to us about the situation that we had with Jake. And for those who have seen my kids, they know Jake is very light-skinned, blonde-haired boy, and very blue eyes. And it all kind of happened in about a span of a month. We were kicking a ball in the backyard, and Jake completely missed the ball. Ball is here, and he kicks here. And I missed the ball. I'll go get the ball, bring it back again, put it down. And I look at April and I said, he needs glasses. Like something's not right. And it was about a week later. The occupational therapist happened to be at the daycare that Jake was at the Y daycare, and told the director that she wanted to have a meeting with us because she wanted to talk to us about Jake. I said, okay, fine. And so the minute that she met us, she was the one that pointed us towards this ocular albinism, and we said, well, what is that? And it's ocular albinism is a lack of pigmentation development in your body, whether it's your skin or your hair, or, eye color, etc. But she diagnosed him, told us that it was ocular albinism, basically. And I'm very thankful for that lady for showing us what was going on. Got us hooked up with the Children's Hospital in Winnipeg, who've officially diagnosed it, and got us hooked up with CNIB and everything else. Ryan comes along, and he has darker hair and darker skin color. So we're thinking, but he had the blue eyes. So we're thinking, okay, well, he's probably got something, but maybe he's not as bad. And for the first couple of years of Ryan's life, we thought, okay, he's doing great. It actually turns out that Ryan's eyesight is considerably worse than Jake's. And it's quite amazing, actually. You see Ryan and Jake now, and Ryan's playing video games, and he's looking, and we have the TVs. We have a lot of things adjusted in our house, but we have it mounted so that Ryan can stand there and look up over the top of the spot so he can look up at the TV. And if you move him back a couple of feet, he flat out says he can't see it. And because he needs the angles of these shots. So he's always looking like this to see you, and stuff like that. He's always looking around. So I love those two boys, and it's amazing what they say. They when you have a sense that's down, your other senses kick in. I said the teachers are absolutely amazed with their smarts and how they're doing and how they've adjusted. But yeah, we've done a lot of work with NOAA, the National Organization of Albinism and Hypopigmentation, and with CNIB now, and the Children's Hospital, and just all these people. I want to say a big thank you for all their support and what they've done for our two kids. And I'm still thankful to this day that they do what they do. I said they if you see them take on a new play structure, they'll always take it backwards. They have to feel out the steps to see how the depth perception. But once they learn it, they're good. So it's an amazing thing for them, and how they handle themselves and how they deal with it. They don't know life any differently.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, people and kids are they're so resilient, and if you're born that way, then it doesn't really even feel like an adaptation, right? It's just what you've always known, and kudos to them for finding a way to make it work.
And bowling, I want to say, because bowling is one of the games that they can play that they can still just get used to their feeling and their sensation and play. And so it's a big thank you to them, to those people that support it, and to those around us. I said it's been great. I said our campground is amazing. We put up a post about it, and they welcome them with open arms. So it's that's been a big life-changing thing for April and I, and the adjustments in our life and our house, and the activities that we do. And so yes, I said these. And for the record, it only shows in boys. I said ocular albinism only shows in boys. So our girl, Jessica, pretty much sees perfectly. She's 20/20 vision. It's amazing. She can see across the field where the boys can't. And so it's that's the biggest part of our life right now, is making sure that the boys have what they need, and to continue forward with that. So. But again, bowling plays a big part of that, because it's an activity they can do, and they love doing it. And so it is quite amazing to see them. But when you see them on the youth tournaments and stuff like that, it's Jake's really taken to cheering everybody on and having a good time with it. And he's had a lot of fun with it. So and that's where my attention has gone to, really, for the most part. So, and it's good that way. So, but yes,
I can definitely see how bowling would adapt well to it as well, especially since like the whole point is trying to stay down, right? You want to stay down and have your shoulders down. So for looking up, like that works really good. If you're staying down and you're looking up, like that's
exactly. And you always got that angle, right? And you're always looking down or you're looking upwards at your shots. So it's awesome. Nice. It's been a good thing, and I just I know they're gonna watch. So hey boys, how's it going? And you're good. It's been fun. I said it's. April and I really privatized our lives in the last few years, and it's made us better parents and better people, and just life lessons. I said there's so many of them now. I look back now and I can honestly say to a lot of people, especially if they're watching this, that there's a few times in life that I would have loved to have changed. I think we all have those times, but my list is probably a little longer than others, but I'm honored to have had what I've had playing this game, to meet the people that I have, and I love them all. I love everybody. I love this game, and I hope that's the one thing that everybody remembers me for this. And I'm so thrilled to be on here today with you guys and to do this for 2 hours and yak away and have some fun doing it. But it's been a good ride. It's been a good ride. I can say that.
I hope I can speak on the better half of the WCBT and stuff like that, Brad. It's been amazing over the last few years having you come out and compete at the level that you've been at for so long, especially with an injury like that. But it was always a joy seeing you out on the lanes, if it was at the Heritage Traditional or Regina or TPC, right? Like, it's amazing to have you out there, and to compete against you was phenomenal. And I don't want you to see you end your career, but I'm happy that you're moving on to coaching and going that route. I think that's amazing, and I look forward to seeing what you can do with Manitoba, Brandon specifically, and all your coaching endeavors for sure.
Thank you. I said it's actually, I want to say when I put the post up in September, I had quite a few great conversations this year on the tour, and I've never seen. I never really felt like I was one of the guys to look up to. I said I've always kind of looked up to all of you, but to have some of them come to me and say they were learning things from me in my game, it was very special to have a few of them come up to me and say that. And I'm thrilled to see all the new ones come up and play and learn and gain the experiences. You have to play to gain the experience, guys. And don't be hesitant. I mean, I know the scores are big up there, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. I said I'll say that openly. I said if I can be so blessed to play the game the way I have, I said it's out there for everybody. And please get out there and play and have fun doing it. Don't yell and scream like I did so much. I did a lot of yelling and screaming on the lanes, man. I said I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my god, what was I doing? But I always tried to be the loud one. I tried to get everybody going all the time, and I didn't know any other way. But I'm not a quiet guy by any means. I guess I like going out loud. But the tour, a lot of great friendships. I have a lot of great friendships in Manitoba. I have a lot of great friendships on this tour. I'm going to miss the tour. I'm not going to see everybody as often on the tour. But I do plan, April said to me too, coming back from Regina, said, there's no reason why we can't go to Regina every year and have a good time. So there's stuff like that. And that's what it's going to be now. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure competing against you guys and chatting with you guys. And I was never really one of the cliquey guys out there. I was kind of quiet at the lanes probably, but I always enjoyed the company and I always enjoyed being around you guys. It's fun.
Likewise. Congratulations on a hell of a career, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. One more to go.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
One more to go.
Yeah, make the team and get yourself to nationals or singles. There you go.
You never know. You never know. I said I'll be ready, but as ready as I can be. But I have a feeling much like Edmonton and Regina was this year. I have a feeling it's going to be more emotion than focus, but we'll see how it goes. It's going to be fun. And the fact that they moved it to Brandon, I might be a little biased in saying I'm pretty excited. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I think it's certainly fair in saying, Brad, that you've represented Manitoba in a way for the last, 15 years on the competitive circuit, right? You had an extraordinary career in all these nationals and then on tour as well. So while there was a shift in transition, you've obviously rose up to the top and did a fantastic job, and obviously very classy in doing that. So I didn't really get a chance to talk to you too much on tour, but I was happy to have this conversation and just to learn a little bit more about you and the stuff that you're going through. And obviously, thank you for opening up and sharing all that. I think it's an important part of this podcast is that we can, get into it a little bit more and talk to people's individual little naggings and what they're feeling with, and mentally, physically, and in every other way. So obviously it was awesome to have you on and do this for us, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. And like I say, don't keep it all in, guys. I said COVID's been very hard on a lot of people. I said it's time to open up and get out there again and live. And I think that's been our motto the last few years, is just to have a good time and do it and enjoy it. And that's what we're gonna enjoy. We're gonna enjoy probably some new things in life too. And I've been trying to think about what's next. I have had 2 years to think about it, but obviously coaching and traveling is high on that list, and going from there, and maybe a bit more poker, a bit more golf, maybe. Golf is the opposite swing. They said it's the opposite side of the arm versus the ulnar nerve side. So he said, you're probably good at that for a while. And I said, sure, but you never know. I said it's.
I'm thinking with Brad, I'm sorry, but when you say retirement, I'm thinking older. So I'm thinking shuffleboard, pickleball. Yeah. I'm thinking all those things.
Someone just said Jeff just said lawn bowling. I said.
In all fairness, though, I started lawn bowling when I was 23, so it's not
not quite.
Yeah.
I see the amazing shots, but no, I'm honored to be asked to be on this show today. Thank you so much. I keep doing what you're doing, guys. You're promoting the game very well. And I'm thrilled to see it, and hopefully it keeps on booming and growing and having a good time.
We hope so.
Awesome.
So Brad, we'll just let you go. You can stay in the background if you want, and we can chat after or whatever you would like to do. But we appreciate you coming on, man.
Awesome. Thank you again. So, bye, everybody. We'll hopefully see you in Newfoundland. Hopefully.
Yes.
Never know.
That's right.
That's the plan. All
Take care.
Thanks, Brad.
Take care. Thanks, Brad.
So I know Brad has lots of stories and he filled us with tons of information and stuff like that, but I just want to go back to watching Brad play on the lanes. He even talked about it, his rotation, stuff like that. He was one of the guys that I actually emulated my hook shot off of, was watching him play. Yeah. And so incorporating that part into my game actually helped me a lot. So he talks about watching other people, and that's the exact opposite. That's exactly what I did with him.
He's probably the most one of the most square bowlers ever. You don't see the shoulders change at all, and his arm swing is so straight, and tons of rotation, and it's just such a simple shot that works so well. Not a lot that can go wrong.
I think Brad. I feel bad because I think Brad's pretty unheralded it on tour, right? People don't he's kind of everybody's friend. There's no cliques or nothing like that, and he kind of goes his ho hum way a lot of the time, and he's always there. He's always competitive. He's there, and you look at his resume, he's unbelievable. Or he had an unbelievable resume, right? He has one more to add to it before he finishes it, but. People don't realize how good Brad was because he was humble a lot of the times. He never bragged about it, never talked about it, and he'll definitely be missed. Yeah.
We didn't get the story. I'm not sure if he did, but the perfect game, obviously, in 2011 as well. He sort of briefly talked about it, but
briefly.
And we didn't get into all those nitty gritty details, which was a little bit different, but it was great to obviously hear all of his.
I think big takeaway from this is take every opportunity you guys have while you guys have it. You never know when something out of your control is going to end your career, and just don't take it for granted, guys. Play everything you can. do everything you can, have no regrets at the end of it, and just take full opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get to our All-Star giveaway and we end this podcast, I wanted to do a huge shout out. So 5-Pin Universe did the live streaming for the 2022 Ontario Invitational, and big shout out to Jarrett Couchman for taking that down. $500 entry tournament. He had to run through some players to win it. He beat Sean Barrow in the end, but he had to beat Mitch Davies in the first round of the playoffs. So he took it to Mitch. Played unbelievable.
Crazy.
We went 2 hours and 5 minutes, Carrie. 2 hours.
That's right. We did mention that.
Right. It was a different format. I liked how the top seed in each bracket had a chance for a double life. Jared played unbelievable. Like, he played awesome. First seed. And nothing against Jared. You're looking at the quality of players there. Never did I think he'd make the top 16 as a first seed. He can make top 16, but he played unbelievable the whole time, and it was well deserved.
There's so many tournaments out there, isn't there? I mean, we've talked about them this year multiple times, but there's so many little tournaments out there, and it's fun. It's good for the game. Keep doing these tournaments. Keep these little small ones that are out there. You don't always have to be the size of the tour. You don't have to be the size of Nebs. We've seen Nebs. We didn't talk about 300 entries, huge numbers, calling out the 5-Pin U guys for August. But I mean, it's great to see.
Tim, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Whatever size tournament these are.
You know what? I want to throw some people under the bus here. Okay. The two guys up there didn't tell anything, and then I see their pictures.
We just signed up
let me finish. Okay, so I see their two little names and photos and highlights, right? And then Daryl, me and Daryl were talking in a group chat, and we're like, well, we didn't know anything about it, so Daryl put his name in, right?
Didn't know anything about the tournament?
No, didn't know you guys. We usually talk about this stuff. Like, we're a team here, right? So then I get thrown under the bus.
You go, Tim.
No, let's listen here. But you know what? I just think, Ontario, you watch out. Those two just wanted their pitcher up there, just like Daryl had his pitcher up last year, and they might not show up. I'm not that guy who can promise things and not show up. 100%.
So, I signed up so Jeff England would post my picture.
100%. 100%. So, you know what?
That was a good time to mute him, eh?
He's on mute. Well done. Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like either Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith. But anyways, I might show up. I'm like 10%. But you know what? We'll see how it goes.
Wow.
And we're both at 100%. Well, I'm at 100%. I'm at 100%. I'm going.
I'm
saying 100%.
How many shifts?
100% TV?
Well, you can't say 100. You can say only 99.
No, I'm 100%. I'm going.
I can't wait till he bails.
I'm not going to bail.
You know what? You can have a broken leg, and then if that happens, then
he's still going.
Like are you not? No,
Tim, have you not seen your brother play on a broken leg? Because I have.
Well, yeah, you know what? You might just sponsor the event, right, and save the money. That'd be the.
Anyways,
so
you heard it here first. Right, Tim doesn't want to go to Nebs.
I want to go to Nebs. There's no doubt about it.
It doesn't sound like it.
Well, me and Jeff, we'll talk. Yeah.
All right.
Trying to bring up the old draw here. My screen was giving me problems. Hey.
Wow.
WrestleMania is this weekend, Aaron. Good shout. WrestleMania 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday. Epic. It is going to be crazy. I'm so excited.
Oh, God.
The Dream Crushers just exploded. Yeah, we're crumbling because Tim.
Who is Seth Rollins going to fight? I mean, that's what everybody's wondering. Who is Seth going to fight?
This is so good. Every time we put up a comment, it covers Tim's face.
Let's do our All-Star giveaway. 23 entries. Good luck. Who won last week? Since I didn't watch podcasts, you guys didn't inform me who won.
You had to watch podcasts to find out.
Okay. What's going to happen with Riddle and Randy Orton? They have to break up at some point.
What are you even talking about?
It wasn't Jeff, but it wasn't Jeff Watts.
Jeff Hibner.
It was Jeff Hibner
on
Crystal Hibner's podcast.
On Crystal's podcast. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck, Jeff. Good luck,
Is Charlotte
Jeff.
Flair
Good luck,
going to
Jeff
keep
Watts.
the title, or is the man Becky Lynch going to take it over?
I just can't believe you watched that. Christian Murphy.
nice.
Yeah, that's my nephew. You're playing with him this
That's
weekend
awesome.
in Youth Choice.
Yeah.
There we
Youth
go.
Choice tournament at Sherwood Park on Sunday. Yeah.
What's all this WrestleMania stuff
Jeff is-
going on?
Oh, WrestleMania is going to be huge.
Jeff is like saltier than the ocean right now.
Yeah.
Like
That's Jeff though. Oh man. Okay.
WrestleMania viewing party in my house. Let's do it.
All right. Going to DB's parents' house. All right. We'll meet you there.
Right.
Great podcast. Great
Excellent.
guest. Maybe we'll have him on in a few years as a coach.
Yeah,
You never know.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.